We move now to the fifth keynote entitled Revolutionizing Software Testing with AI, Opportunities, Challenges, and the Future. The speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is the delivery head for APAC J Malaysia at Cognizant, where she leads testing delivery and drives opportunity development across key markets in region with over 35 years of experience in IT. Zarina is a recognized leader in the software quality space and is passionate about aligning testing, innovation, and business value. She enjoys mentoring young professionals and exploring ways emerging technologies are reshaping the future of assurance, and learn more at cognizant.com. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, may I call upon Puan Zarina Zain to the stage for her keynote address. Puan Zarina.
Hi, good afternoon, and Assalamualaikum to all. Okay, my name is Zarina Zain. Sorry, I can't present on top of the stage, mainly because I had an accident and my knee was dislocated, so sorry. I hope you're okay. So, okay. So today, I'm giving a very general topics, yeah, which I think is in the interest of all of you guys. What does AI do in testing world, yeah? So revolutionizing software testing with AI. So this is topic today, yeah? And the opportunities, the challenges, and also the future of it in testing, of course, in testing scope, yeah, here. So I'm actually attached with Cognizant Malaysia, as you guys know. And let's start for today. I hope you guys are still awake. How's lunch today? Okay. So today, agenda. I'll be touching a bit about myself, and then why these topics matter now, you know. Why not before or after, but now, why is it now? People are talking about AI and in testing per se, and then the evolution of testing, and what is artificial intelligence? I guess that you guys know about this, but I just want to recall what does it mean, so that we are aware and we are more we understand more about this AI in testing world, yeah? And then the challenges, the key opportunities, the challenges in adopting AI, the future of AI in testing, and what does this mean to the testers. I only touch on tester mainly. I think one of the speakers only touched on the leadership level. So I will more concentrate on how does it will affect tester world, okay? A bit about myself, okay? As you know that I'm Zarina Zain. I started my career a very, very long time ago, way back in 1990s, where technologies excite me, yeah, at that time, yeah. During those old days, we are actually using the big mainframe, you know, the PC with the green, I don't know who in this, get the chance to use this black monitor with the blue screen, blue alphabet, yeah, green alphabet, sorry. So at that time, computer was not so famous, and people are not talking so much about this way back in 1990s, yeah. So I started my career after graduating from University Institute Technology Mara, way back in 1993. So started at a publishing company as a programmer. But along the way, I think that being a programmer is not my passion. I slowly switched myself from programmers to testers. And I actually honed myself with a lot of educational things that interest me. And I also, at that time, testing was not major things to do, yeah. People are not doing so much testing. They do testing on their own way, no strategic, no processes, no nothing. They just do whatever they want, okay? So this actually triggers me more, okay? Along the way, from manual testers, I go through manual to automation testing. So in automation testing, I also involved with functionals and also non-functionals. This non-functional, we touch performance, security, and also operational assessment to the companies for smooth deliveries. Yeah, being in a few of industries, I've been through publishings, aviations, telco, banking industries. Is kind of challenging for testers, yeah? Before, now, and also after. I think whoever that is actually in testing, you know how does testing roles being a hot seat in every project life cycles, because when you talk about testing, it's actually towards the end, and you have all the pressure to deploy things on time. So currently, I'm actually attached with Cognizant. In Cognizant, we actually advise, give solutions. We actually enhance skills. So I'm actually the head of APEC-J. My area, I'm actually monitoring the Asian regions for testing team. So that's basically about me, being 35 years in the IT industry, and most of it is actually in testing. Makes it actually a very adventurous journey of my life, yeah. So now, let's talk about why. Why this topic is now, not before, okay? As you know, that technology innovation has never been more dynamic than it is today. 4 decades ago, the world witnessed the dawn of the personal computing. Then, 2 decades ago, our globalizations push into digital transformation, into core energy for every enterprise to change. So people are talking about digital transformations. But now, at this stage, all of us are talking about adoptions of AI. How much we know about AI? How can company actually adopting to this? Not only on delivery per se, on testing, specific in testing, yeah. Not much company is actually adopting it now because I think mainly because they don't understand how, where, and when to start. When everybody's talking, but they're still in the midst of thinking how and when to start, yeah. So this topic matters now mainly because of the rapid adoptions of the AI across industries. Regardless you are in healthcare, finance, manufacturing, or also retails, all of these industries talking about AI. How can they actually speed things, how they do things, yeah, especially on testing side, yeah. So when you talk about this, yeah, when you talk about AI, of course we talk about speeds and qualities, yeah. Times matter here, and time is actually money. When you talk about time is money, there's a quality at stake at that time, right? At that portions. So why speed is actually an important thing? Mainly because when we talk about speed, yeah, speed is currently is actually an innovation. Speed is always be innovation now. It's not things that everybody wants, but it's actually a must, okay, for innovations. So in an environment where first mover advantage can be deceived, organization must also shorten the time to market their product, and this is where AI empowered the solutions. You know, you have to adapt AI to keep it up with the speed of delivery. And when talk about that speed of delivery, of course we have, and we need to have the quality of the delivery. And AI also helps on delivering the quality of the product that we deliver. Okay, so the challenges is speed and also quality. The challenge to speed up, actually, to speed and also to have the quality is actually the continuous delivery that we have in the organization, right? We always have a continuous delivery, and we want to make a real-time decision-making to make things faster and also good quality. And we also have the very high expectation from the stakeholder, from the customers. That's why it makes things easier if you use AI, okay? So when you talk about this, right, there is a limitation. Okay, AI come into the picture mainly because of the limitation of the traditional way of doing testings. Okay, some of the things we can't do it manually, especially when I talk about AI integrations, UI, and lots more that needs more of human interventions, more times, more people to actually deliver the things that we want as per the spec, as per the requirement, yeah. So the modern testing paradigms for AI is actually how you address these challenges. Where organization is embarrassing the new paradigm of for testing AI system. This actually including the automated testing, where we leverage AI to test, and then automate the framework on that can generate test cases, validate model behaviors, and provide real-time feedback. Okay, so together with the automated testing, of course, we have continuous integrations and continuous deployment, which is the CI/CD, right? This embedded throughout the software lifecycle, enable the repeat iterations and also the deployment. And why modern testing paradigm for AI is because of the data-centric testing. It's actually focusing more on the qualities and the diversity of the data sets to ensure that the robust model performs. Okay, so the robust performance is already there to be executed, yeah. And then the model monitoring. So the continuous monitoring, of course, when you do testing, you need to monitor what happened, what's next. You know, if you have defects and so on and so forth, when it's stuck, where should I move? How do I move? Okay, we cannot run. Of course, we do have automated testing where we can run our testing overnight. But when it stuck, nobody can detect how's the defect, or if there is, it'll take so much time. Which for a tester, we do not have time. I think whoever that has been in testing line knows how critical it is when the defect is there and you can't do anything about it. So with the AI can help you do all this. Okay. So why does we need a change? So now is the critical time for us to change. Yeah? It's very critical for us to change mainly because of this rapid adoptions. AI currently is not a trend. It's not a trend, but it is a fundamental shift. It's a new era of the way industry or the way how we do things. Okay, when we talk about testing is no more so much on finding defects, but it's how we actually contribute to the delivery, you know. And then the need for speed and quality in delivery is absolutely, and traditional testing approach is no longer sufficient, which means that, as I mentioned just now, there's a lot of testing things that can't be done manually. It needs some AI intelligence or scripting to do it. So if you do use scripting, but it's only stay there as it is, but AI can analyze what next. If we start or if there's a lot of defect, what we need to do, and we also can advise developer how they can move on, rather than wait and see what's going to happen. So when we talk about this is where the strategic imperative comes in, yeah, and then the of the acceleration and ensure quality or risk being left behind. So this is the major things that we need to bear in mind, that why now is the time for us to change. Do I get everybody here? You guys seem so quiet. Any questions from members of the floor? Before I move to the next slide. Okay, so the evolution of testing. Okay, testing started way back in 1980s, yeah, where we do manual testings. And then at that time, we use waterfall. And even having said that, now also we use waterfall as a base. Even though we have agile, some of the organizations still use waterfall for their testing method. Right? So then it evolved to in 1990s to 2000, year 2000, where we have a bug automation process, where scripts comes in. We do testing with the scriptings, and then we leave as is when we run the scripts. Okay? And then in 2010s, this is where agiles come in. Okay? The approach of agile is actually faster, mainly because people do testing and development together, and they talk about how things are being done and what need to be done and deploy at the same time. It's not like the traditional way, we have to wait till the end, and then when we found defect, it's too late for everything. Okay? So in the year 2010 to 2018, there is enhancements of the way of agile is moving. So we use the DevOps and then also the continuous testing with CI/CD. So this is where the flow through of all the, from development to testings, and the discussions takes place at every stage instead of at the end of the story. Yeah? And then now, today and future, people are talking about AI, what AI can do in testing. So what is AI? So I have to read what is there, because this is stated in one of the books here. So it is a system built through coding, business rules, and increasingly self-learning capabilities that can supplement human cognition and activities and interact with humans natural, but also understand the environment, solve humans' problems, and perform human tasks. What does this mean? What does this mean? It means that AI helps us, help us to think some things beyond our thinking, because it uses a lot of data. When we think, we only think about our mind, what is there in our mind. But AI actually collaborates a lot of other people's mind into one to get the best solution for whatever things that we ask them. But there is a way in asking, because they are robots, so you need us to actually leads them the way to get our correct, the things that we want. Because it's not as easy as it says. AI comes with the skills. So testers nowadays have to upskill themselves with AI, with data analytics, because AI talks about a lot of data in place. Then we also talk about security later on. How does it evolve? It evolves with the how tester is thinking, So tester has to be equipped with a proper skill to do AI. AI is just a tool, yeah? And to best fit the organization or us or whatever that we want to do, we have to fit the correct things to them, okay? So this is the critical things that AI can help in testing process. Normally we use this for unit testing, but we do have AI in other testing phase. But it's critical to have it in unit testing, mainly because when we talk about AI, the tools that we use normally is a robotic process automation, which is RPA. This RPA is actually predict what's going to happen, or is actually reduce the flaky test cases and maintains the unit test to be at least, reasonable for tester to take it up for testing. So at the very early stage of the testing life cycle, we already knew what's going to happen with the recommendation from AI. So another one thing more that is critical to have AI as part of the testing is actually the API testing. So API testing normally takes a lot of times, a lot of efforts and a lot of technical skill, a lot of experienced people to actually identify a defect. Even though a small defect, it can take time for them to notice or recognize where is the error come from. So AI actually helps take up the complexity of defining the error, or what is the best thing to do next, or which API is actually down due to what. For fastening, to fasten the way of the testing. So this is the critical things or the critical path that need to be done for AI. So normally we touch on the UI testing, the unit testing, and then API testing, then after that the UI. Because nowadays, when we talk about product, we are talking about UI, user interface, because people are talking about mobile, people are talking about mobile apps, internet banking or internet thinking. So even we buy things from mobile apps, right? Whatever the process that need to be done behind the scene of the AI, when we talk about normal manual way, it's going to be difficult to do it. Even though we can do it, but it needs a lot of testers, and of course the cost will incur when there's a lot of testers coming in. And the normal way we automate, even though we automate, we still need AI back end to help us to identify which UI is actually down, or which UI can't be used, or which AI is not relevant to be tested. Okay, so AI is actually simplify testing roles or testing process at this stage. Yeah. So this is top 10. Yeah. If you're talking about investing on AI tools, there's two things. Whether you want a generative AI testing tool where you generate things that you want, and that's the top 10. There's a lot more, but this is the best in the market that being used. Okay, and on the right-hand side is actually the AI testing tools. These testing tools is actually to create your test cases, or maybe how do you craft your test usability test, and then how does you actually present it to the customers, what can be done. So this is some of the things that you need to be aware and can be used in the market. Some of it is actually freeware, but most of it is you have to pay to subscribe. Yeah. Okay, when I talk about key opportunities, key opportunities about AI in testing. So if you look into the left-hand side, right-hand side, this is what AI-driven tools can do. So they can maximize maximum code coverage in a limited time. Yeah, they can do it for you based on your test cases, your your documentations, user requirements, your logs, the data, the defects that you found, and a lot more things can be done faster. And then AI enable error identification. So based on the data taken from the logs, they can actually predict what's going to happen, what's defect you can find, and then to prevent this defect is your role, how you're going to strategize the way that you do testing. And then AI tool also for testing, it has intelligence in requirement gathering. So when you have the requirement gathering, normally you read the documentation, right? And it takes a lot of time to read this, and then you need help of business analysts to understand it. But AI can minimize this time and can come up with the relevant test cases based on the data that you have. And the faster decision with AI is simplify the exploratory testing also, and it's actually empower visual UI testing. And it can also provide more things or something that you maybe can't think of it with your UI. It can suggest the best UI that can be framed out based on the customer inputs. And then the reuse test cases also can be simplified. Okay, so why this key property? So it's a smart test case generation using the natural process NLP. So it actually triggers or predict what's going to happen. They have a neuro, they have an automated style of way of checking, but as I mentioned, your tester need to be skilled. Because to use all these things, it takes time, yeah. You have to use the correct terms to get the correct answer. You know? Like you are using ChatGPT, right? You can't just say one thing. You might get other things. But if you are more specific and you know what your intention, what you want, then it will be more reliable of what you're asking. So when you talk about self-healing automation, yeah, it means that it actually is the way how the tester is thinking nowadays. You know, instead of thinking instead of getting the defect at the very end, you get the defect now, and it leverage from the human being nature. What's next to do? How we going to do it? Okay, and then for the fourth point is the defect prediction and analytics. So this is where, as I mentioned just now, the defect can be predicted based on the logs, the test cases, the use case, the regression that you have done before. It can predict the defect that it will come up with the new changes that come. Okay, and then it optimizes the test scripts and coverage improvement also. So sometimes they can suggest whether you need more than whatever you have done, whether it's necessary or not necessary, or it can be a second choice or importance or not. So this is how AI is opportunities to us, to testers. So challenges. So we talk about AI. Everybody is talking about AI. So of course there will be challenges in AI, right? So first is actually the data quality. When we talk about AI use the big data analytical. So of course the data that be input has to be a quality data, which means that garbage in, garbage out. So if you have a good data, you can get the good results. So you have, there must be somebody which maintain the data quality at this end, yeah, when you talk about AI. And then it can be biased also. So like previously, you only concentrate on certain areas of testing. AI will also repeat the same thing. So there must be a way of your data so that it's not strategized to only one portion of the area that you want to test. Okay, and then the other challenges is a lack of explainabilities. So what AI can tell you, or what AI can do for you, is actually a very basic things that it will suggest, and it's up to you to actually analyze and also to solution it to another level. So that's why we need human thinking here, not only AI. AI is just to fasten a portion of your things, and other technical things has to be done by human, yeah. And then the skill gap of a tester. As I mentioned just now, right? AI tools need a skills. You know, it's the way is how you ask the AI or what you want AI to do for you. So this one need to have a skillful tester. Of course, that you need to be upskilled into more data analytical or AI intelligence in this sense, yeah, to be more accurate or perfect in putting in your questions. And then it's also the challenge is tool immaturity and integration issues, which means that when you have changes, of course that the changes in the system is like sometimes it's so much and so fast, and you can't adapt to whatever that changes is. You know, sometimes we miss or whatever. So when you talk about these rapid changes, yeah, the integration issues also might be impact when you use the AI tools. So you need to be more proactive to check all the things that need to be done and what it is things that need to be asked to us, or also need AI to do it for you. Okay. And then the last but not least, the important thing of all is the organization resistance. Okay, one thing is actually when you talk about AI, people are talking about reducing, most of us are talking about, okay, if AI can do a lot of things of my job task, right? I might not have my role anymore. And how am I going to move? And this will create some, something which is tester will feel down. Most of testers feel down that their role will be taken by AI. But it's not, yeah? So to make the organizations understand the role of tester, what the tester, the new era, the new way of doing things, needs some intelligence and also awareness, not only to testers, to the leaderships and also to the stakeholders, okay? Because when they talk about AI, there's some investment need to be done, especially on upskilling and the tools that need to be used. Because there's a lot of tools in the market, so tester need to choose which one is actually adaptability or adaptable to the environment or to the organizations that you are using. So this is a very important thing before you start thinking about how to use, what to use, and when to use it. Okay, this is the challenges that we have currently. Yeah? And of course, when you talk about this, there's a lot of investment need to be done. Okay, so if your leadership to actually convince the stakeholder, there must be some ROI to be presented on this. How long can you can get the returns? Because the costing is also not cheap, and it's actually a journey. It cannot be start now and you get all the result now, but it's a journey from manual, you shift slowly to automation, then slowly to AI. So that is actually a journey that every organization need to go through, and this is not a cheap journey, even though eventually we reduce a lot of costs. You know, there'll be not so much of defects. You know, you reduce the number of testers, you reduce the number of test cases maybe, and you also reduce time. So in organization, the matter now is actually the time, the speed. You know, whoever goes into the production first will win the industries. Okay, the future of AI in testing. Okay, as I mentioned just now, the generative AI creating test script. So AI can actually create a test script for you. You know, based on the requirements, the documents, the use case, the logs, the defects done before, or maybe results from the unit testing. They can actually create the test cases for you based on that. But as I mentioned, it needs skills, yeah. And then the autonomous testing pipeline. So previously, if you are taking too long, you know, and maybe 6 months in deploying or doing a testing, it can be reduced to a shorter time frame because of most of the things that previously is done by a lot of testers is actually taking over by the AI, you know. So the tester is actually moving into a more strategic way of thinking, you know. And then the continuous quality monitoring. Of course, when we think about AI, as I mentioned just now, it can predict what's going to happen based on the data that you input in, okay? So based on this, especially when you talk about API testing, UI testing, it can actually continuously monitor what happened previously based on the changes that's done. And then because if you put in the CI/CD, right, in the pipeline, the new things that developers introduce in is also captured by AI, and it can also reduce the defect, that the number of defects that we can find. It's not totally gone, but still there will be a defect, but it's lesser, and it can be detected at the earlier stage. And then human and AI collaboration. As I mentioned, AI can't work on themselves or itself. Yeah, it needs human interventions. It needs human critical thinking to make it happen. You know, because if you are not thinking as what machine is thinking, you might get the wrong answer. You know, I think if you use ChatGPT nowadays, you also know what's happened. It's actually the same as a testing tool, AI testing tool, yeah. So you must have this, all the testers now have to swift, yeah, from a normal tester, which is finding defect, to a more critical tester, thinking about how they're going to manage the things, how they can move the process of testing and how it can benefit the stakeholder user and also customers. Yeah. So this is what I mentioned just now. What does this mean to testers? If you are testers, don't be afraid. Your job will not be taken over by AI. AI tool is only part of it, but you are the one who actually going to execute the whole thing. So you need to be more critical thinking in this sense. Yeah, you have to be prepared of what's going to happen next. Nowadays, I think if you're talking about Malaysia per se, we still is lacking on the skills of automations, because AI come with the machine learning, which is the scripting and automations. So if you are a tester, a normal manual tester, start thinking of to upskill yourself in automation scripting. Try to use maybe, there's a lot actually in the freeware testing tool, automation tools in market that which you can try on. And then upskill yourself, get yourself certified. I think MSTB got a lot of certification in automation testing and also in AI. So when you go along to this journey, the tester job will not be defeased, or gone forever. You are more on the critical path where you'll be the one who is actually conducting your AI what to do. Okay, so now you can be a manager in that sense, because you have to be more critical in thinking. So when you talk about these AI and data analytics, as I mentioned just now, you have to equip yourself with these skills. Yeah, as a tester, you have to equip yourself with these skills. Move towards the shift of the paradigm of tester, what you need to do, because not only functionality, you also need some technical things within you. And then, as I mentioned just now, from Defect Finder, you are now a quality enablers. So you are, how to say it out? You are more seen as a tester, because I think that if you are a tester, nobody knows you. Nobody actually appreciate what you do. You are just assisting and just finding defects, and most of the time you are at a hot seat and you'll be the one who's actually jeopardizing the production deployment. Okay, now no more that. You are more, you are giving more imperative and more technical things or solutions to your users, your stakeholders, your customers, and then you also suggest to them whether this is good enough or not critical enough. Maybe if you talk about UI, if your user wants red, but red is not the feasible colors in industry, AI will tell you, and you can cascade this down to your users. There's a lot of things that AI can do actually, but all is actually with your guidance. They can't work themselves, they can't go by them alone. They are all robots, yeah. Okay, so this is a key takeaway. As I mentioned just now, unlocking opportunities. It's not locking your opportunities, you have more things to do, more things to contribute within the testing pipeline, yeah. And then the challenges introduced, yeah. Even though there's challenges that introduce, you have to be in par the way, as I mentioned, upskill, be more proactive, because when you talk about AI, you need to be more proactive in terms of your communication. You need to talk to your developers, you need to talk with your data analysts or system analysts. You have to talk to your users as before, but normally it's done by your leads, right? Or your managers. But now every tester needs to do that so that you understand what they want, what is going to be deployed, and what is best for your customers. So it's actually working together with your leads, with your users, everything. So this is where the challenges introduced, but you have to be prepared of this, yeah? Maybe critical thinking is one of the things that you need to equip yourself as tester. And then the evolution of testing roles in the AI era. So of course, from manual, it goes to strategic planning now. And then from interpreting the AI outcomes, as I mentioned, you have to interpret what's going to happen. Because AI gives you something that might maybe not good enough to be part of your scopes, or maybe it's not what the users want. right? So you must be smart enough to interpret all the solutions that's given by the AI, because you cannot take AI 100%, even though they give the best solutions, but still you need to analyze, yeah? The analyzed portions also needs a team to do it, yeah? And then the cross-disciplinary collaboration, as I mentioned, you need to talk to everybody at the very beginning of the state, and then collaborate the whole thing into one repository for AI to actually analyze, and then come up with the better solutions. And then also there's the ethic and bias monitoring. And sometimes when we talk about security, right, data is, there's a lot of data there. There might be some security interference in betweens, but still is still in analyze, because AI is very new to us. This security portion is still in a stage of enhancements from time to time, yeah. And then the key takeaways from this is, for testers, start small, okay. Start maybe with one skill or automation, then move, yeah. And then you have to experiment and iterate itself, which means that you go to the website and check. If you're a tester, check if there's a testing tool available, use it. Okay, use it and then iterate, whether it's actually as per what you want, and whether it's giving the correct things that you want. You know, it needs experience, it needs practice. And then upskill continuously. Of course, yeah, as I mentioned, you go slow, one by one, one step at one time, but you have to be more mobile, more robust in your knowledge. Because when you talk about AI, it's not only technical skills that requires. You also need to have a human touch, your how to say it out, your criticality thinking, and everything has to be part of it. And you have to act like the manager at times, you know, to give a strategic things for what to do and what next, you know. And then, of course, when you talk about this technology, not only AI, you have to upskill yourself from time to time, you know, to be in par in the market. And then embrace change. Yeah, go along. You know, don't be scared with the changes. Go along with the change. What's going to happen today? You just be in the pipeline and just move slowly with the flow. Okay. So at Cognizant, as organization, because we are actually Cognizant is actually a global company, yeah? But in Malaysia itself, our CEO is enforcing everyone to have this AI skill within ourselves. So he built up an AI lab, a few in the few locations like India, Europe, you know, just to equip all the testers in the company. Currently, globally, we have about 50,000 testers, the whole worldwide, and in Malaysia itself, we have about 300. And we are slowly embarrassing all our testers to have this AI skill, to actually equip the market with the technology, so that when people are talking and they want to change, we are actually at the mode of moving. You know, instead of when people ask you start, we already start at the very beginning. Okay, so this is some of the tools that we create ourselves in-house, yeah. So we have the Cognizant Intelligent Test Scripts, where we build out automation tests from the web apps, for all the web apps application, yeah, for our customers. And then we also have a Chrome extension for easy retrieve. And then we have Neuro AI multi-agent accelerator, build up and deploy agent network for adaptive operations. You can have this, I mean, this is what Cognizant have, but as I mentioned just now, we have all the top 10s in the market. We can try it out from there, okay? And we also have AI testing framework. So when you talk about AI, of course, we need to have a framework. It cannot be just gone by itself and do without a process. So to make it complete, you need to have some framework, so that you actually working towards a proper guideline, yeah? So another one is the IT Hub Copilot for quality engineering. So we built up a Copilot ourselves with GIT Hub to help our testers to build up test cases based on other clients, you know, because we are global. So based on the things that happen in other clients with the same industry, we actually promote new things into our new clients. So this is how we do it. Okay, just to share, our CEO is very keen, and he's progressively into this AI way back from 2000, just after the COVID. Yeah, he already have a lot of initiative within the company, and I think all the industry should go. If you are actually the leadership, it should go within that. So he was awarded or listed as one of the CEO which enables AI in the company in Times. So just recently, he's actually nominated as one of the CEO that enables AI progressively in the company. So this is our CEO, Mr. Ravi Kumar. Okay, just to share, because we have a robotic test automation built up by our own testers in our lab. So you can enjoy this video.
Let's take a minute to understand the significance and requirement for robotic test automation. In our daily lives, you would notice that our digital and physical worlds are rapidly converging. Be it at home or the workplace, human-computer interaction is happening all around us. Every day, more devices are being enabled to work with both digital and physical human interaction.
So basically, what Cognizant do is actually we provide solutions to all our customers. We advise what is the issue in the company and how to move forward to actually help the pain point of the company. We have about 300 testers in Malaysia itself. All of them are actually, most of them are actually in the banking industries, but we do also have an healthcare, retail, and also insurance.
Providing a unique interactive experience for us. In the physical world, testing has historically been a repetitive mechanical process. For example, it could be a simple action as pressing a doorbell button and testing if it rings the bell. But, in the phygital world, testing must ensure that when the simple action of pressing a doorbell button is done, it achieves the desired digital or software-driven outcome of showing the visitor outside the door on a computer screen, enable the microphone to communicate with the visitor, as well as create sound or music. The user can communicate with the visitor at the door remotely via their mobile phone or tablet. This outcome is critical to the end user, making complex testing a continuous and essential process requirement. At Cognizant's RTA, we are using cobots or collaborative robots, which perform fully automated physical and digital end-to-end testing. This allows businesses to launch their quality products faster. Robotic automation benefits over traditional testing methods by continuous test automation for devices in end-to-end ecosystem, precise and error-free execution around the clock, digital evidence for regulation and compliance process adherence.
Okay, that's end my presentation. Any questions or anything to be discussed?
Thank you very much, Puan Zarina.